graphics, animation, and now let us discuss a little bit about video. When we talk about video, it's like other, instructional tools, but this one is actually more like, a combination between all other multimedia tools because video consists of pictures, audio, animation, infographic, whatever multimedia is there. So video is like a combination between them all. Okay. Uh, we are going to cover two main topics when we talk about video: analog and digital. Do you have do you guys have any idea what is the difference between analog video and digital video? Obviously, when we talk about digital video, we are talking about videos that deals directly with the computers, you know, like the one that we are using right now, the meeting after we record, we just upload to the YouTube. This is digital video. But when we talk about analog, this is the classic way of producing videos. Like, uh, previously back then, before the digital era, they used analog to produce videos for channels, for TVs, for live TVs, for live radio, and so on. This is the main difference between. We are going to talk about that in details later on. I would like to start with digital video. In digital video, we are going to cover these topics, which is introduction, acquiring, advantages, quality, format, and editing tools. Okay, I have a question here. The presentation, you may speak in Malay as well. No problem. I can understand. Okay. For digitizing the video signal, there are two basic approaches to delivering video on a computer screen: analog and digital video, which is, as I mentioned, the analog and digital. There are two main types. The analog video is essentially product of the television industry. As I mentioned, before we actually went to digital using computers and so on, the analog was the only choice to produce videos. The digital video, on the other hand, is a product of the computing industry. Using a computer, we produce videos using a computer. Okay, so video, like audio, is usually recorded and played as an analog signal. It must therefore be digitalized in order to be incorporated into multimedia title. How is that? Okay, let me explain this to you. In the analog industry, in the TV industry, they used to produce video using huge machines, cameras, classic cameras, but the file itself, it's not readable for computers. You know, it has its own way of, producing the file. It has its own formats, which is different from today's format. So this process is called, analog video. But to be able to actually make it digital, we need to convert this product to be, digitalized and to be readable for computers. But this process of converting from analog to digital, it's not going to actually enhance the quality. Okay, this is very important information. It could be, a tricky question in the final exam. So you need to be able to differentiate between these two, the analog and the digital. Obviously, when we talk about digital, the quality is very much better. Nowadays, we have 4K quality, which is a huge amount of information. You will feel like you are actually there, when you see a 4K video, whether in YouTube or big screen, the quality is very, very big. But back then, when they used analog, you can actually tell if you watch, old videos on YouTube, you'll see the quality is very low because they actually follow some certain, formats to produce these videos. The most common one was PAL, PAL, and the size of this PAL format is actually very low. Even if you play it in your smartphone, you will not see a good quality. Okay, so you need you guys need to understand the difference between analog and digital, and which one is actually better, which one is high quality, and the file size and so on. Yeah, this is what I have been talking about. Now, the video source, such as video camera or VCR, TV, or video desk, is connected to a video capture card in a computer. This is when we talk about uh, digital video, okay? While on the other hand, the analog signal is sent to the video capture card and converted into a digital file that is stored on the hard drive. Because, the video industry in general, when we actually produce videos, montage and editing and so on, using our computers, you are going to need, you know, a very huge, space to save your video, especially if you are actually working with a raw file. Raw file is actually the source file that you get from the camera. You shoot your clips by your own camera, and then you transfer it to your computer, and then you try to edit, make a movie out of it. This is going to need a lot of space. That's why, film editors and the process of montage needs a lot of hard disk. You will see a lot of external hard disks around film editors. Any one of you has any background with film editing? Anyone? Does anyone has any background of film editing? Have you guys, edit a movie before or used software for editing, montage, something like that? As that, which software? Oh, Filmora. Anyone else? So how about the size when you edit? You need like sometimes when I work in medium file, not very long, maybe 5 or 7 minutes video, the size will be over 20 gigabytes. If you actually shooting using a camera and then you convert to your laptop, so. But nowadays, using WebEx actually, this recording feature that WebEx has, the size is actually very, very low and the quality is good, you know. So this is something very interesting about using WebEx. Okay, now when we talk about analog, which is capturing the video will be captured using a card, and then this card needs to be digitalized. How? Actually, to be able to see what's going on, you need a screen. Okay, you need to see what's going on the screen, so you need another screen, and then to actually save all this data or all these products, you need a storage to save the video. This is the philosophy of taking um, the video. And this is the transfer protocol for DV. DV is standard for digital device. like any digital device, which is a camera, pro camera. Okay, so you need to shoot first, and then you need a transfer card, which is usually will be inside the camera itself. And then when you finish, you will transfer it to your computer. And this is actually video capturing. Have you seen this one before? This one will directly convert whatever you capture from your phone to the computers. So it will treat the smartphone or laptop as a webcam, webcam. So it will actually identify your smartphone as a webcam, and it will transfer whatever you capture directly to your MacBook or your laptop. And when we talk about digital transfer, which is different from the analog, you don't need to convert anything. Just when you take the card and then move it to your laptop directly. So you don't need to convert the files to be able to be readable, as I mentioned, to your computer or laptop. See, this is an analog to digital, uh, let's say, converter device. So this is the camera right here, and this is the converter device, and this is the tape. Because previously they don't have hard disks. They didn't have, hard disks, pen drives, memory cards. So all they used to save all the data or all videos in the tapes, the black ones. Are you familiar with it? It's like a big tape, a size of a hand or more, and then they used to put it in this device to be able to play it and the screen. Are you familiar with it, guys? Have you seen one of these devices?
No, sir.
So, okay, let's say you have the LCD or any TV screen, and then uh, instead of using YouTube or pen drive or hard disk to play the film or the movie that you have, you needed actually to cable this TV with this device, the black one, this black one, the rectangle device. It's called a video player. Okay, it was very, very familiar in the 90s and 80s, something, like that. So uh, there were no pen drives, no hard disks. So to be able to save any file that you have, you need this tape. It is called tape, video tape. It's like a rectangle piece of plastic, very thick, and then each one has one movie. Okay, so when you finish the movie, you will take it out. You can play another one. So let's say you want to save, for example, 100 movies. You need one room to save it. Because it was the tape. The tape itself used to be heavy. Okay, and it actually takes a space of a book, one book. Okay, now when we talk about video and multimedia, it's it's actually a very powerful way to actually deliver information, especially when we talk about education. That's why when we talk about video in education, it has very important role. It can deliver the information very easily, get your student to be engaged all the time. It's actually a very attractive way of delivering the information. But as always, you need to make sure that it's the video that you are using is appropriate for the audience age, is actually going to help you out to achieve the objectives of the lesson, or else it's not necessary to use it unless you want to waste your time and your students' time. Okay, So one of the most advantages of integrating video into multimedia presentation is the effectiveness of delivering the information, the amount of knowledge and information that video can uh, deliver to your audience. And as I mentioned, more information, more knowledge in a short time, while your students are attracted the whole time. Now, for the advantages of digital audio or video, sorry, whether it's analog or digitalized video, it's easy to edit. So it's easy to, you know, add an introduction, add a body of the video, add an end, for the video. So it's not something solid, So you can edit it. You can even um, record the whole audio. For example, you want to change one language to another language, you can add subtitles. So using video in education has been um, a very effective tool for a long, long history. And it can be copied with no loss in quality. Videos, unlike the images, or the graphics unusual, because sometimes when you upload, let's say, an image, you want to send it by email, you will lose some of the quality of the image. But video, you cannot do that. Video is like something. The quality, you cannot change it unless you convert the file that you have to be, let's say, less size. Then the quality will be affected. But if you upload or you move from device to another device, the quality will be the same. Okay. Now let's talk about the quality and the file size. As I mentioned, when we talk about audio, graphics, animation, it all has this kind of relationship between the file size and the quality. Okay. Even the animation, we talked about the quality. More frames means the quality is higher. The graphics, when we talk about, let's say, PNG or GIF or JPEG, the quality is difference in each one of them. Why? Because the size will be different. Now, when we talk about video, we talk about the same philosophy. Okay. So the more frame that we have in the video, the size will be higher. The frame size, that's the difference between the analog and digital video. Digital video, now, as I mentioned, we have 4K. 4K, the frame size is very, very wide, But when we talk about the analog, it's like 720 cross 480. Can you imagine? This is the measurement of the video, the PAL, the PAL format, that it used to be the very common way of actually, uh, you know, this is the common way for TV channels. The quality was very, very low. So the frame rate, the frame size, the color depth, and the bit rate. For the first one, which is the frame rate, anyone could explain to me what do you mean by frame rate? Same philosophy that we had in the animation, the keyframes, if you still remember. What is the frame rate?
Amount frame taken.
Exactly, the amount of images in 1 second. Just like the same as we mentioned in the animation. Okay, so the more frames that you have in 1 second, the quality is going to be higher. And this is actually the difference between good cameras and bad cameras. Okay, good cameras takes more frames in 1 second, and not only more frames, each frame has more information than the other cameras. So uh, each frame, I mean, more frames, and each frame has more information to read by computer. So you will see the quality is it's like, you know, you have seen it by your own eyes, very, very high. And obviously, more frames, the quality is higher, and the size is higher as well. So the number of capture video frames determines the overall file size. And and here as well, you can find if you use two different cameras, one a very pro camera and one is, you know, let's say beginner camera, you see if you shoot the same video, like 1 minute, the expensive camera will give you a very huge, large file, and the cheap camera is going to give you a very low video with a very low quality and low in the file size as well. Okay, that's number one for the frame rate. What about the frame size? What do you mean by frame size? I just explained about it. Can anyone tell me what do you mean by frame size? Anyone would like to try the frame size? It's actually the measurement of the video, the measurement, height and width, the measurement, okay? As I mentioned earlier, the main difference between today's video and uh, you know, previous videos is the measurement. The 4K measurement could be more than, you know, 2000 something, but in the analog video, which was used in the, let's say, 80s or 90s, the measurement was only 740 cross 480, which is very, very low. But today, the digital video, you can see some videos with 1920 by 1080, which is, you know, still very, very high quality. This one, WebEx, the recording, it record using this measurement, which is 1920, and still the size is not, you know, not really high. Um, let's say if I record 1 hour, the size will be around 3 to 400 megapixel. But if you record using a professional camera for 1 hour, the size will be crazy. You'll not be able actually to record 1 hour in one shoot. You need to divide it. Okay, so this is what I mean by the frame size, the measurement of the frame. It's different from the frame rate, how many frames we have per second. Is it clear, guys? Can you know the difference between these two? Clear? Any questions?
Okay, Doctor.
Okay. Now, this is the common frame sizes utilized when presenting digital video and multimedia products, which includes all these kind of measurements. And you can tell the SXGA is much, much more better than the VGA. Why? Why, guys? Why is the first one is better than the last one? The answer is one word. Anyone? quality, yes, Anis. So the frame size. The frame size is different. The measurement. When we have bigger measurement, we will have bigger resolution and we will have a bigger size as well. Frame, yeah, the frame size. So the frame size always maintain an aspect into ratio of 4 to 3 to reflect the resolution of computer monitors and resolutions. This is an example of the frame size meaning, which is the measurement. Measurement, okay? Always remember the frame size as a measurement. The frame rate H is how many frames per second. You really need to differentiate between this. And this is the frame size aspect ratio based on the device that you are actually using. And the most common frame sizes utilized when presenting digital video are SD and HD. SD, which is the standard definition, and high definition with, as I mentioned, let's see this 4K thing. It has 3840. Can you imagine the amount of information in a picture? This is crazy. This actually, the best ratio is it depends on the device that you are actually using. So that's why we can see not all TV, screens can play the 4K quality. You need to buy an advanced TV screen to be able to see a 4K quality. Yeah. So the best ratio is based on the device that you are using. And previously, when they used PAL, which is PAL format for TV channels, the TV or the TVs back then was actually very small. Our laptops nowadays is bigger than their TVs, but the screens nowadays are huge. You could have actually a cinema inside your home. So that is the differences between the high definition and the standard definition. Standard definition. Standard definition is no longer relevant. Is no longer relevant. Even our smartphones nowadays record a high definition videos. I think, yeah, I've seen one smartphone is able to record a 4K. So you don't actually need to buy a camera to produce a 4K videos now, no more. So uh, it's crazy, guys. It's crazy because I have actually lived and seen the standard definition and how low the quality was comparing to 4K. It's crazy. And this is, an example of the measurement, the frame size of each device. So that's why the best ratio is based on what device that you are using. Okay. This is the PAL, the first one, PAL, 720 versus 576. And in some cases, it used to be 480. It's less, So it's actually very, very low. Quality very low. For the YouTube video size, nowadays actually YouTube support 4K. So it started with 240. It still use 240, but the quality will be very low. And obviously, if you have a slow internet, you can always select 240 measurement or frame size so that you would be able to play the video. If your internet is is very low, you'll not be able to actually play high quality or 4K. In some cases, actually, when the internet is medium, let's say, not very fast, not very low, you will see the YouTube has this feature of, you know, automatically choosing the best format to play the video. Have you experienced this? Let me give you an example. Let's say you actually played a video with a high quality. In some seconds, you will see the video as very clear. The quality is very high. And then when you move on, you'll see the quality is going low. And then it goes high again. It goes high again, and so on. So this is when you choose the feature that YouTube has, which is automatically, playing the video based on your internet speed. Have you experienced this?
Yes, I do. I do.
Yeah. So this is what we mean by frame size. And this is a difference between SD and HD. You can see the quality is higher, more details, more information in the picture. And one more time, the best ratio, guys, depends on the device that we are using to present. And this is a this is the difference between the resolution and the quality that we have. For example, the resolution of 4K is 3840, and the minimum YouTube file size is 240, which is very low. It's like, have you seen did you guys use any Nokia devices before all this Android system was going on? This one, like, 2005, 2006, Nokia devices were very, very famous. And we used to take videos and record videos. The quality of the video back then, the format is called 3GP. Okay? The quality of these videos was 240. Did you ever use a Nokia device or Nokia?
Yes, I do, sir.
Yeah. So this is the difference between the quality of previous devices and nowadays devices. And then the third factor, which is the color depth. So when we talk about the color depth, actually, when we see a video or a picture, any video or picture is made up of, a series of still graphic images or bitmaps, as we discussed when we talk about graphics. So the same philosophy with animation, right? Animation consists of a series of frames, right? Keyframes. Each keyframe has a picture. Video, I use the same philosophy. So the more frames, the more quality. The more information in each frame, the more quality. The file will be bigger. You guys still remember the difference between the raw images and bitmaps? When we talk about when you go to a studio, take a picture of yourself or your passport or whatever, and then maybe ask them to send it to your email, you will notice that the quality of the image is very high. Okay, because we mentioned bitmaps are usually used for professional purposes. Okay, so imagine these bitmaps are used to create a video. One bitmap, actually, it has like 5 megapixels. Imagine a series of these to create or to produce a video. So the quality will be higher. the more quality in one bitmap, which meant one frame, the more quality we will have in a total as in our video. Okay, one more time, I have already discussed this when we talk about graphics, color depth. This is the difference between 8 and 10-bit videos. The more bits, the more quality. So as a definition, it is actually a rate or the number of bits, okay, in each bitmap. And always remember, it actually goes not only with the rate of a bit rate, it goes with anything, color, the frame size. The more the frame size, the more the quality. The more frame rate, the more quality. The more the color depth, the more the quality. Okay. And these are some examples of YouTube videos. You can see here the first one, which is 35 to 45 megabytes. And the last one for 480 is actually only 2.5 megabytes. You can tell the difference here. Some of the details in the image will disappear when we use low, you know, uh, color depth. Okay, so the more color depth you have in the picture, the more clarity, the more quality. Okay, and this is the difference between SDR and HDR, high dynamic range and standard dynamic range. You see more details in the high dynamic range. Okay, now let's talk about the compression. What do you mean by compression, guys? Anyone? Any idea? Any idea? What is compression? Video compression. Okay, let me explain it to you this way. As I mentioned, when we talk about videos and video production, we are talking about something that needs a lot of space, huge space, especially when you are producing, for example, a Hollywood movie. You will need, you know, crazy space. But to be able to actually manage this demand, you need to compress the video. Compression is, or decompression is, the control of the quality, the format, and the size of the file. Okay, this is the way I want you to understand what is video compression or decompression. There are program softwares that will give you the ability to convert, for example, a 4K video to a 4K video with less size. Okay, so that it will be able to, sometimes when you download a movie, for example, Avatar, are you familiar with Avatar movie? Do you know Avatar? Avatar. These blue people on,
No, I know.
yeah. There's actually a copy of this movie in the internet, raw file. Raw file means 10 giga, uh, yeah, 10 giga for the movie. I actually downloaded this uh, format before, and I was not be able to play it in my laptop back then because the quality was huge. It needs a professional laptop or professional TV to play it. So uh, I converted to another, format, same quality, and then I was able to actually play it. So this is what we mean by compression or decompression. So the main purpose of this software was to reduce the size of the video, reduce the or change the format, reduce the size. And when we talk about reducing the size, we are talking about making the frame rate less. Okay, so when we make the frame rate is less, the measurement, the frame size is less, the quality of the movie will be less. And there are two types of compression. Okay, let's talk about each one. As I mentioned, you can actually convert the file to the same format, but with the same, I mean, some if I have a file with 4K, 4K means 3080, the resolution. I can convert this to a 4K, but less size. When I do this process, I do not actually play with the measurement of the movie because it stays the same format. So what the software will do is it will play with the color depth, the frame rate, maybe the audio quality, and so on. But it will stay the same format. Is it clear, guys? What I mean here, when I convert to the same format, 4K to 4K, but the size is less. Clear? Okay. Now the other one, which is the lossy compression. It actually eliminates some of the data in the image and therefore provides greater compression ratio than lossless compression. This one is converting the format of the video based on the device that we are going to represent. For example, if I want to convert a movie to watch it into my smartphone, I will need to be able to know the measurement, the best ratio that going to be played into my smartphone so that I will be able to see the best quality of the video. So it's not about converting the file format as the first one. Now for the video codes example, there are a few common video codes that will meet most of your needs, which is HEVC, H264, and so on. What do we mean by video codes here? Anyone? It's actually the type of the video, the format of the video, right? Okay, guys. This one, the file format, is very confusing because you will see some very familiar formats with the animation and sometimes with the graphics as well. And these are where you can get questions in the final as well. So please take note that the formats is always, the a location where you get question for the final. For the common video format, we have AVI. I'm sure that we have already discussed about AVI when we talk about animation. AVI is short for audio video interleaved, and this is actually for Windows. Same one, but for Mac is MOV. Okay, this one for Macintosh could be run on Windows as well, but you need to uh, set up a software called Quicktime. So if you install this in your device, you can play it. MPEG is actually for Windows as well. It's a shortcut for motion picture expert group. And then MP4, which is very familiar that we use nowadays for our smartphones. MP4 is the best among them all. Why? Because it has a very good quality with a very manageable size. And then we have Windows Media Format, WMV, RM, Real Media File, ASF, FLV, Flash Video. This one, we've used the same one when we talk about animation, FLV. And then DV, Digital Video, and then MKV. So what I want you to understand when we talk about file formats, maybe you can actually draw a table, differentiate the formats of the graphics, the video, animation, and then audio, so that you will not be confused, okay, when you see any questions. Now for the video editing tools, as I asked you before, we have so many softwares. Started with Windows Movie Maker. This one used to come with the with the Windows. When you install the Windows in your laptop, this one used to install by default, but now it's not relevant. It's not there. Maybe Windows they actually remove it. We have Sony Vegas, Apple iMovie. We have so many. The most common are the Adobe Premiere, Final Cut, DaVinci. These are the very professional softwares that actually have been used to produce, international movies like Hollywood and so on. This is a picture for iMovie, Final Cut Pro. This is like the let's say the interface of the software. Okay, this is the movie maker that I used to tell you about. Comes with Windows, very simple. Just put the videos and randomly select some. It's like a PowerPoint presentation but for video. It was very easy to use. This is Adobe Premiere, which is very advanced, and actually because we are taking face-to-face classes, otherwise we would actually take Adobe Premiere as an introduction, but all good. So what video editing software will be able to do is edit the video, change the video, cut whatever information that you don't need to include in the video, change the audio, add a background audio, add effects, introduction, and subtitles. All these can be done using a software. Okay. Do you guys have any questions regarding this digital uh, video? I hope it's clear. Any questions, guys?
Sir, oh,
Yes.
sir,
Yes, please go ahead.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Is it any different about video format from iOS and Android? or just the same format file for videos?
I think it's the same. I think it's the same, yeah. MP4 for both of them. But uh, in some cases, let's say you want to use an app, application for Apple devices using your iPhone. I think the production will be MOV, that you need actually QuickTime to play it. MOV. To open MOV, you need a software called QuickTime. Yeah, QuickTime. Yeah, it becomes MOV.
How to spell, doctor?
Okay, let me type it for you. Just 1 second. This is the link for you to download from the support.
All right, doctor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, also. Okay, any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Whether for the class or for the video presentation, the final exam? Any question at all? Okay.
Better.
Yes.
Our exam letter online or face to face?
Online.
Online. Okay. Okay, doctor.
Okay. Have you already all scanned the attendance? Because I need to deactivate. All,
Me, not yet, sir.
okay, please go ahead. We do have 6 students that did not attend today's class. Please, guys, if you have a group or something, inform them about the presentation next week. They need to be there so that I can give them the marks. For the final, we actually do have 60 questions, 60, all MCQ, multiple choice, no essay.
To Howard, right, doctor?
Sorry,
To Howard.
come again? Yeah, between 2 hours, 2:30, I'm not sure yet, but I will update you. But the questions are very direct. If you read the slides, if you watch the videos, everything will be fine. And you actually have done very well in the first test, so mostly the same. Okay, guys, any more questions? All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Um, if you ever have any question, please text me. I'm always available through WhatsApp. And we'll see you, inshallah, next week. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank
Thank you,
Thank you
Doctor.
so much, Doctor.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.